Glen, we are live.
Larry,
Check your pulse.
I'm good.
Yeah, we are both
Do the
live,
mirror test.
and I hope everybody's doing well. I'm not sure how long I'll do this. Maybe 4 or 5 hours. That's
what I'm thinking. A marathon. What else? It's Sunday night.
Yeah.
We don't have to get up for work until late tomorrow, so we're good.
So Adrian James, hello there, Larry. How are you today? I am doing great. I don't know about Glen.
Adrian, what's your last name?
Yeah. And there's Bob.
Bob.
Evening, Larry.
Yeah.
So I want to just make sure Facebook's working.
Well, we've got 2 people watching, Larry.
We got 9 people watching.
I'm getting nervous.
So Glen, tell us about our CD exchange.
Well, Larry and I do a weekly CD exchange. We exchange 5 CDs. Well, kind of weekly, because this week I think we've both been busy last week, and so we've stretched it to 2 weeks this time. But 5 CDs. We trade back and forth and rank them and call each other idiots for liking that kind of music, and it's fun.
Yep.
And I think we're going to film it this Friday coming up. The next review.
And the one idea, it was my idea, you know, how we picked 5 CDs to give to each other. This time, I'm going to go over to Glen's house or basement, and I'm going to choose 5 CDs myself, and Glen's going to come here, and good luck with that, right, Glen?
Yeah, no, I was kind of browsing last time I was over, and there was no problem picking 5.
Hello, Matthew Lockwood.
Hello, Matt.
Paul Ayers, Taste Like Music had you on their Instagram story post.
Glenn, are you enjoying Funky Nothingness?
What was that about?
I'm loving Funky Nothingness. It's great. Yeah. The only thing I don't like is the start of the 3rd disc with it's no way to start a disc with drum solos. Just save them for the end. Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Jens, hello.
But if that's my only complaint, it's a pretty damn good set. Oh, and Glen, hello. Hey, Bob.
Good evening, Mr. Muffin and Glen.
Glen, are you enjoying? Yeah, I am.
Glen, you're reading ahead of me. Don't do that. You make me nervous.
Okay.
Hello, chaps. Hello, Canadian legend gentleman, Adam. See her T-shirt? She is seeing Sparks, I believe, in 2 or 3 days. I think it's in Texas.
Oh,
yeah,
very cool. Favorite Clapton song? Now you're talking solo Clapton here, I'm assuming. So we're not doing Derek and the Dominoes or Blind Faith or Cream. So I'm going to say Lay Down Sally. I really like the guitar in that song.
I like the song from his debut album, Let It Rain?
That's yeah,
Let It Rain.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. It's Briar's Music
Briar,
Showcase.
how are you, Briar?
On Wednesday is Sparks. And is that the first time that you'll be seeing them? I forget your story. Everybody's got a story. Batch.
See, Bob, that's a Cream song. So I was trying to stay at the Clapton solo, but if I had to include Cream, Badge would be up there for sure.
Larry, Mr. Studmuffin, how is your pain? Mr. Glen in his basement, Kellaway's. How is your legendary basement looking?
It's looking good. Callaway's are golf clubs.
And my pain is...
It's one weird, instead of 2, and Callaway's is Kellaway.
It's weird, though, but I'm in a bit more chronic pain when we're on a live chat. It's weird.
You seem to be in more chronic pain when I'm around.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Music Talk with John. Hey, you don't look like Larry the Cable Guy. No, I don't. Hello, love. Hello, old friend.
That's a great song. And Yvonne Elliman was a great backup singer with Eric Clapton. I saw her with him back in the 70s.
Yes, it'll be my first time to see Sparks. Well, you're going to be disappointed because they suck live. Trust me.
I saw Sparks the first time I ran into Larry at the grocery store 3 years.
No, they like I said in the video that we did, they were really good. Like they were excellent last year, but I was seriously blown away this time, especially with the vocals. So you'll have a great time.
And one thing you didn't do, Larry, in your review is talk about the venue itself. How did you like the Danforth Music Hall?
I'm sorry, Glenn.
No, I'm curious because I'm just curious because I
It was really
that's a great
nice.
place.
Yeah,
Very
it was
cool.
organized and everything.
Good sound.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Much better than the Queen Elizabeth Theater.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's
Well, it's a bit more intimate than the Queen Elizabeth Theater too, right?
like his vocals seemed louder and more full. So
sometimes they don't have seating on the floor. That's like I guess it must depend on the band but they had floor seating, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of times they have that open and people just stand, and then you got to sit
I
in
wouldn't want that.
balconies.
Yeah, I like sitting down sometimes.
Yeah, I do too. I don't want to stand.
Yeah.
What was it like listening to the Beatles diss tracks to each other?
I didn't take it
I
that way.
wasn't there.
No, but he's saying, like too many people back then. I didn't know that was about John, right?
I didn't know too many people without John until that was John mentioned.
That was later on.
I wouldn't have picked up on that.
No,
but certainly "How Do You Sleep" was easy to tell. That was
yeah, it was. I don't know. I'd rather not see that, but yeah, there's not going to be anybody to see.
Yeah, true.
I'm doing pretty good. Hope everyone is doing well. Glen is jealous. He isn't a Studmuffin. That's true.
Yes.
Larry, if you could have met one producer between these two, which would it be? Here's Beatley Tone. Now all we need is Molly, and we can talk about Coronation Street.
Da 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 da.
Da 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 da. Hello, Canadian people. How you doing?
Excellent.
Good. Here's a question for Tony and us. If you could have met one producer between these two, which would it be, Glen Johns or Giles Martin? I'd like to meet
Giles
Martin Jr.
Me too. Giles. Yeah. I would go for Giles.
Glen Johns.
Although Glen Johns has got so many that he could, so he's produced so many great bands that that he could tell you about.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear some first-hand Stone stories and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think for historical reasons, Glen Johns, but I'd love to talk to Giles Martin about working on the current Beatle catalog and stuff he's up to.
Yeah. Get some info from him.
They removed Badge from the definitive edition for some reason.
Well, isn't it on Goodbye Cream? Badge is on Goodbye Cream, I think.
Great song.
Close to the Edge is overrated.
Yeah, right, Harry.
No. No negativity on this live chat. Right, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper's overrated.
It's like...
The Edge is overrated.
You know who's really overrated is King Crimson. This is a magazine I picked up for you, Glenn, for your birthday.
No way.
Yeah, I read it. I wanted to read it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Get me a present and use it first.
Yeah.
I hope you don't take it in the bathroom with you to read it.
Well, no. Yes, Texas Theater, where I will be, is a very small venue, and it is general admission. Ooh.
Oh, I thought you meant it's in Georgia.
Yeah, Danforth Music Hall is cashless.
Oh, I thought she meant it was classless.
It was that too. Yeah, because Molly went to get water, and she had to use a credit card, and then I took cash. I was thinking they wanted cash for the T-shirts and all that, right? And of course, it's credit cards. Like,
Yeah. They didn't come. They didn't come out afterwards and do a meet and greet or anything. Eh?
I don't think so. No.
A lot of
But
bands do in that venue because it's so small.
But their big bus was just right outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
How many seater is it? The venue that you saw?
I think it was like 1,500.
Oh,
yes,
it's
pretty
small. Is it all on one level, or is there sort of an
two levels
there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Tom Waits there back in 1978.
Wow.
Oh, it's been going a long time then.
Janet.
Hello, Janet. Hello, Janet.
It's actually Bob. He goes by the name. I don't know what he's doing. Don't ask. Sparks play an entire Yes album in their own style. Which album would it be?
Tomato. Are you a Yes fan, Tony?
I'm not.
Tony.
Not really a big prog fan at all. I know this is probably sacrilege, but because when I was at school, like all the kids in my class, they were all into prog, and I tried honestly. I tried because to fit in, but I just couldn't get into them. And they're all into bands like Yes and Genesis and Jethro Tull and all these bands. I like Pink Floyd, but I'm not sure if they're really prog. If you listen to something like Dark Side of the Moon, almost every song is in 4/4 time, apart from that little bit in the middle of Money. And so there's none of these sort of tricky time signatures that is very prog. If you like, but it's the length of the tracks. I just couldn't get into it. Long instrumental passages are not really my thing. But I totally get that the musicians that were in prog bands are just fantastic musicians. They are classical instrumentalists using rock instruments, and totally get that. But it's just not my. It just doesn't do it for me. But I totally understand why everyone, a lot of people loved it, especially people who were teenagers in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. Beatles Get Back was so good. It sure was.
It was brilliant. Brilliant.
Do any of you enjoy smooth jazz? I don't know what that really means. Do you, Glen?
Well, I think the closest I would get to smooth jazz would be Grover Washington Jr.'s Wine Light album, which is a really good album. Kenny G would be considered smooth jazz. Guys like that.
I don't have any Kenny G albums.
Or Sade, that artist Sade. I think she's
yeah. Oh, that's smooth jazz, is it? Oh, okay.
I think Sade is. I don't know. I don't pay much attention to her, but
I've heard
her first album.
For Wimps, right?
Her first album was really good. Diamond Life, good album.
Yep, I've heard the Who versions of Under My Thumb and The Last Time. Yep.
Yeah.
Great Picture, Harry. Badge is such a great song.
It is.
Which Beatle would you personally want to hang out with for a day? Well, we've only got two choices these days. No, but if all four were alive, I think George would be the coolest one to hang out with. The most real. You know what I mean?
I would have had to pick John.
Yeah.
I would pick John as well, as he's always been my favourite. But you'd have to be lucky on the day that you hung out with him, because he was just so changeable. If you got him on when he was in a bad mood, he'd make it a really horrible day.
Yeah. You have a couple of drinks and he'd punch you out.
Yeah.
Glenn, do you have a favorite video of mine?
Your spam video.
Oh, yeah. That was, I think, one of the first ones you watched, right?
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite.
I don't like spam.
No.
Gems.
I really like the one where you were doing the stand up in the empty
Oh yeah,
empty arena or whatever. Or it looked
yeah,
like it was in an
yeah,
empty arena, but that was great.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Gents, I am going to see the legend John Anderson live next week for the first time. Can't wait. I watched many clips from his recent shows. His voice is still amazing. Yeah.
His band is supposed to be incredible.
Yeah.
I would love to see that tour too. He didn't come to Toronto, did he?
No. Okay. Which cardboard head guy? Which band do you wish would reunite?
Supertramp.
Grand Funk Railroad.
10cc.
Cool.
I'd say 10cc. Yeah, I'm presuming that, you know, the parameter that is that all members are still alive.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not a fictional get back together again.
Hello, Molly from
Oh,
Bob.
Bob's sucking up to Molly.
Yep.
I have not heard of them.
I have. They're early 70s. They're kind of crazy. They're kind of like the Bonzo Dog Band.
Oh, okay. One of those kind of quirky.
Band.
But they were good, I think. Larry, would you do more videos about George Harrison's solo career? I noticed you only covered All Things Must Pass and Living in the Material World. I'm just not, big on George Harrison's solo career overall. I love 33 1/3, All Things Must Pass, and a couple of others. But what about you, Tony? Do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I love all the solo albums, apart from Extra Texture. I've never ever been able to get into. Again, I've tried countless times, but it's just too miserable for me. But 33 1/3, fantastic. Self-titled George Harrison album from 1979 is fantastic. Cloud 9 is great. Living in the Material World. I also really like Dark Horse, and a lot of
I like Dark Horse too.
Yeah, a lot of Beatles fans don't like Dark Horse album, but I've got a bit of a soft spot for it, and I think it's better than people think it is, really.
Larry, do you like, and if so, name 3 favorite British or UK television shows? Monty Python. What else? From the UK. What else, Glen? Not Coronation Street, although Molly loves that show.
But you've never watched it.
No. Yeah, but it's like a soap opera,
It's
right?
not
Tony?
like American soap opera. It's different. Don't think about it as a soap opera.
It's got a lot of comedy in it. It's got a lot of comedy in it, and it's kind of. I mean, it is storyline based, but the characters are so strong in it. I've watched it for years. Even
but I have to. But
when I was a teenager.
I'd have to start from the very beginning.
No, you just pick it up. You just pick it up. You just pick it up.
Yeah, Martha, My Dear is a great song.
It is a great song. I wouldn't say it's the most underrated, but.
Yeah. Well, Tony, do you have a review of Brainwashed on your channel?
I've got what I've got is I've got a George Harrison solo album ranking on my channel. I've done that video, and I've also done a top 50 George Harrison song ranking as well. So so
that's the channel to go to for George Harrison content.
Yeah. I mean, my channel's still, fairly new, so I've still got lots of work to do on it. But those are 2 George Harrison, videos that I've got. I also did quite a lot of stuff when the All Things Must Pass box set came out in 2021. Did quite a bit. That was the album that inspired me to start a channel, actually.
Wow, cool. I like pop music. Roundabout is a great pop song. The Narrow Way. It's beneath. It's beneath Sparks to even consider covering Yes. Hey, I love Yes. Yes are awesome. Pat Metheny is the smoothest.
Is that back to jazz?
Yeah,
again?
he's fairly smooth, I would say.
I like prog, pop, classical, some jazz, but not so much the smooth rock. Loads of music.
I like two kinds of music, country and western.
Yeah. I like this next comment, Todd. I like smooth heavy metal.
Yeah.
Tony, Tony, I don't see you as a heavy metal guy.
No, I'm not. I like sort of a lot of the mainstream. It depends what you call metal. I mean, I like rock bands. I like Led Zeppelin. I like Cream. I like Thin Lizzy. One of my favorite bands. I like Deep Purple. I've got lots of rock albums, but not heavy metal. It's a thin line. So Black Sabbath, who are kind of the start of the kind of the heavy metal thing. I've never really got into them so much, but bands around that sort of time, there's a lot of rock bands that I like.
Sade.
This is Sade again. Funny enough, I recently saw it.
Julian Lennon's Valet.
For a lot
album. I liked it.
I did like that, but I've never bought anything that he's done since.
He that came out of nowhere. That album when it came out.
It did. It did. Yeah. It did. I've never bought anything. I kind of draw the line at Beatles children.
Yeah. Although he had an album called Photograph Smile, which was really good.
Yeah.
His third album, but it was really
I think
good.
When I said I did this video a little while ago called "Are Beatles Fans Absolutely Bonkers?" and I was talking about buying, of how far we will go with this fanaticism, and I said I sort of draw the line at Beatles children, and a load of people said, "Oh, you want to listen to Photograph Smile? It's a really good album."
Oh, my wife, who's a huge Coronation Street fan, been watching it since like from 1960 on, pretty much. Is asking you a question, Tony.
Right, my favorite part. I just really love Steve and Karen McDonald when they were together. I mean, Steve McDonald is still in it, and the actress who played Karen McDonald, Saran Jones, has gone on to bigger and better things. But
she's done some great stuff.
Yeah. Here in the UK, we've got we have a retro channel that shows classic Coronation Street, and we sometimes watch an episode like when we're having our lunch or something like that. And at the moment, they're in back in 2002, I think, and Steve and Karen McDonald have just kind of got married. And it's the Richard Hillman story. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Glenn?
That's the best.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Really good.
I just bought Roger Hodgson's first solo album on CD, Supertramp.
That's In the Eye of the Storm, or isn't it called In the Eye of the Storm, I think?
I want to hang out with Paul. I feel like he would invite you for tea and crumpets and has great, neat furniture.
I think he'd take you to the local pub.
Tone, what was it like when the Beatles first hit in England?
Well, you're Bob. Yes, I know. Bob and Janet, you use the same account.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I wasn't around when. Well, I was born, but I was a kid. When they first hit in England. So I can't tell you, from experience. But I think we all kind of know what the impact was, historically. I mean, it was just huge, just as it was in America. 40 Towers getting a shout.
Yeah, great show. That was funny. John Cleese.
Lynn will have to join us if we do a Corey chat.
We will try and coax her on. She's
Yeah.
not. She doesn't like being on camera, but she could
could
be off camera shooting questions at me or something.
She could wear a mask.
Maybe we could do that.
Yeah.
I just wonder if we were to do a Coronation Street chat video, whether the small amount of credibility that we've got at the moment would just go straight out the window.
You lose all your subscribers. That's why I'm not going to have any part of it. I'll just sit here.
I like Sowing for the Seeds of Love. I think that's a good album. I love the title track's great song.
Yeah, yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Never saw that. On the buses?
On the buses was so funny.
Olive.
Some Mothers Do Have Them was great.
I've never seen that show.
Yeah, oh yes, very funny. In the 70s, that one. Michael Crawford.
Some of the like shows like Broadchurch and those kind of shows were awesome too. Like Britain just makes best TV.
Have you had Line of Duty in Canada?
Yes, I've watched the
absolutely fantastic series that is.
Yeah.
Ringo does. He does look fantastic.
He does. It's
Right.
funny. Ringo was the ugly mutt of the Beatles, and now he's the coolest.
Yeah, and he looks great, and his voice is still, it's good. His voice is better than Paul's now.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Adrian, on Saturday.
The kid with two first names has a birthday.
Happy birthday.
When you first saw that album cover of John when his ding dong was out,
with his ding dong,
guys disturbed.
I think most people were disturbed by that.
It wasn't that easy to, unless you knew someone who bought the album. It wasn't like you were kind of curious to see it, but like you had to find somebody who actually.
And then after you saw it, it's like, I wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, wasted the money buying that.
Yeah, I like. Have you ever seen the video called Sweet Toronto, which is about the rock and roll revival concert in is it Montreal? Was it Montreal? Toronto. Yeah, of course, Live Peace in Toronto. Yeah, so local to you, and where they were doing the bedding, and they had all the reporters around there, and there was there was a reporter. I think she was American, and she said, Why did you do that? Why did you have to do that naked album shot? Did you think it was important for your fans to know that you have pubic hair?
Well.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy were the first band I ever saw live.
Wow.
When I was 15.
I don't like Blizzards, but I would like a DQ ice cream cone. That's no problem. But I think I'd probably rather watch the wrestling match. It was damn impressive.
Yeah, it's a good album. It's a good album. I haven't played it for years, but it's good.
What would you say to people today who say John Lennon was a terrible person? He was just a regular man like all of us. He had his
demons.
And he, when he was younger especially, but he got better, I think, as he got older.
He had good days and bad days, just like everybody else.
Yeah, and I think he had a lot to be angry about. He did. I mean, as much as he grew up in a middle-class house and everything with his aunt, I mean, he lost his mother at a young age, and his dad, the way he kind of deserted him and stuff. I mean, it's a lot. He had a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
Clover, I was on a holiday in Liverpool. I've heard of that place. Just got home yesterday, did the Magical Mystery Tour on Ringo's birthday. That's cool. Got to visit Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields, and the childhood homes of all of the Beatles.
Now, Clover, what I'd like to know, I haven't been there since 99, and the homes weren't like, you couldn't access them. I think now they're historical sites and you can go in. So did they stop the bus so you could actually go in the homes, or did you just...
Yeah, I did that exact tour back in. We went there in March and did that, and you do Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields, and the homes, and you can't go into John and Paul's house. Well, you can't go into any of the houses, but John and Paul's house. If you their houses are now owned by the National Trust. So if you go on a National Trust tour, you can go into it. But if you do the Magical Mystery Tour bus, you just park outside and you can take photos of it, but you can't actually go in. But if you do the National Trust thing, you can actually go in. You can go
that'd be the way to go.
John Lennon's bedroom and
that would be everything. The way to go. That would be with
Paul and with George and Ringo's house, you can't go in those either because people live there.
Man, I think if I went into John's house, I'd have tears in my eyes. I think I'd cry. Honestly, that would be such an emotional thing. I stood in front of it, and it was enough.
I think next time that I go, I think I'm going to do the National Trust thing, and you have to make an appointment, sort of quite a way ahead, because they only take a few people on each tour.
And how far are you away from Liverpool?
I'm about a 4-hour drive, so I'm sort of I live on the outskirts of London, so it's about 200 miles roughly.
So when Molly and I visit Liverpool, Tony, can we stay at your place for like a week or two?
Well, you can stay with pleasure, Larry, but it won't be handy for Liverpool. But it'll be great if you want to go down to Abbey Road. You want to go and see Paul's house in Cavendish Avenue. Yeah. There's loads of Beatles sites in London.
Yeah,
to see.
How excited are you about Paul and Ringo releasing them? I'm not excited. I don't know.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that rather than excited.
I'm really excited about it.
I might get excited. I'm saving the excitement because if I get too excited, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, there is that. But I don't think if it wasn't something that they are proud of, it wouldn't be coming out. I don't think.
That's what I'm hoping.
Mm.
That's 60s.
I did. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that song, Sign Language. It's on No Reason to Cry, Eric Clapton album, and Bob Dylan did a guest appearance on it. They sang a song together called Sign Language. I just think it's a weak song. It's not a bad song. I feel the same way about Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney doing Ebony and Ivory. I just think they could have done something better. Not that it's bad.
Mm.
Cool.
Wow, Porcupine Tree and Deep Purple. Wow, very
Nice.
cool. You're seeing some great shows. I didn't know Porcupine Tree was still on tour.
Who's in Deep Purple these days on this?
The roadie.
Well, that's a good era right there. Revolver to Magical Mystery Tour. Do you remember Ohio Express? Yep.
Weren't they like a disco band?
No. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Oh,
I
that
got
was
love
that
in
one.
my
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
Oh, is that them? Okay.
Being Served was great. I like how we're all over the place.
Mrs. Slocum's Pussy.
It's a very eclectic chat tonight. Man.
Yeah.
It's
Glenn, what hat do you have on?
I have
Lowest of the low.
my favorite Canadian band, Lowest of the Low. I have their hat on.
That wasn't John's actual ding dong. It was a piece of baloney. The LP was covered in a brown paper bag. Thank God for that.
Yes, it was. That's why you couldn't see it. You go to the store, man. You had no way of looking at it unless you bought it.
Eventually, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not when it came out on Apple, it wasn't. But then when I think it was Track distributed it after it. I don't know
When it was released here. It
I
was
remember the tour, but Track distributed it, and it had the brown paper bag on it with just their faces.
Well, North America, it was always in the paper bag. You couldn't see it.
Yeah. Talking about Joel. I met John Lennon in person. He was cool.
I want to touch you.
I want your autograph, Joel.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Are you really from Bethlehem?
Yeah. What's your favorite solo Beatles experimental albums like George's Wonderwall, Electronic Sound?
Out of those four, I would say Wonderwall's the only one that's
Yeah.
listenable.
Yeah.
I think they're all terrible, but Wonderwall would be the one that I would be able to listen to, I suppose.
Yep. And then on top of it, try being one of the Beatles. Yeah, going through all of that, right? Like it must have been, I wouldn't want to be a Beatle. I'm sorry. Jeez. Some of these questions.
I love The Price is Right. I like Lynn and I watch Price is Right all the time.
Yeah.
We're getting old. Yeah, I would love to make it. I would love to be on that show.
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
I love Jerry and the Pacemakers. It'd be interesting if they have, like, if you dug down deep into the history of Liverpool music, whether you could find all the houses for like Rory Storm and Jerry Martin.
Oh yeah, you could. I mean, the Beatles tours are the Beatles tours, but if you get the information about where all these people lived and went and did it under your own steam,
that'd be kind of a cool thing. Dig deeper than the Beatles,
Yeah.
Well, the Beatles for me.
Alice Cooper.
I graduated high school in '72, so the Beatles were still pretty relevant then. But Hendrix, all those bands and everything, sure. But I mean, if you had to pick one band that, up at least until 1970, was the Beatles.
Yeah, there was a lot of bands when I was there. It was kind of glam rock was going on in the UK and prog really at the same time. So a lot of T-Rex, Slade, Gary Glitter, Genesis, Yes, bands like that. Pink Floyd, Purple, Zeppelin,
Sparks.
Well, I was into Sparks, but not many people were. I mean, Kimono My House, I think I've told you this before, like Kimono My House was the first album that I bought with my own money by anyone.
Huh, cool. I really want to know this is for Glen. When Rubber Soul came out, did you notice a difference in the music? Like,
I don't recall. It just seemed like a natural progression.
Yeah.
Like, not until Sgt. Pepper, even Revolver, I never took it as anything other than a Beatles album. It was Sgt. Pepper to me where it just went bang. Holy, my head blew up.
Yeah.
And then it got like, but before then, all your albums, they just seem to progress at a certain point. I don't know. I never thought this is mind-blowingly different than the last one.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say, that there was a progression like retrospectively, but if you were there at the time, if you were buying that in December 1965, which was only like a few months after Help had come out, it wasn't that long after Help had come out, and there is a big difference. But whether you would have noticed it at the time, if you were hearing it as it came out, there's a lot on Rubber Soul that could have fitted on Help, and on the US version of Rubber Soul, I think there's 3 tracks from Help on there, and they fit okay.
I would say from Tomorrow Never Knows, the last track on Revolver, to then releasing Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane as a 45, and then Sgt. Pepper. That was like that was the mind-blowing part.
Who did the best Beatles cover song? For me, I would say Yes with Every Little Thing. That's one of my favorites.
I really like Joe Cocker's version of With a Little Help from My Friends is fabulous. Really,
that's got to be the all-star one, I think.
Time. Wow. They actually sound like Steppenwolf meets the Beatles.
Well, they were before they joined Steppenwolf. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that band.
Oh, cool. Good going, Joel, meeting John Lennon. I met Sean Lennon outside a bar. While talking to him, all I could think was, my God, he looks like his dad. Well,
I met Sean Lennon.
I saw Sean Lennon when he was a kid,
wow.
1986. So he'd have been 11. He was on stage with I went to see Yoko in concert.
Oh wow!
In London, and he came on during the encore. But the whole show, he was sort of standing at the side of the stage. You could kind of see him. Yeah,
I saw him when he was promoting an album he did called Into the Sun, I think it was called.
Oh yeah.
And I saw him at the little club on Bloor Street, Larry. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. So I met his girlfriend because I helped her into their touring van. She couldn't get the door open. I helped her in there, and then after the show, there was a club upstairs, and he was upstairs just talking. You could just walk up and talk.
Yeah.
Like any bodyguards, nothing.
Yeah. No, he seems like a good egg, I think.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney's Ram.
Plastic Ono Band.
That too.
All Things Must Pass for me.
They're the top three.
Yeah.
We just named them.
Yeah.
Karen Carpenter had to be the best female voice.
Isn't that funny? I'm gonna disappoint Bill and say I can't stand that crooner, wimpy pop stuff.
We've only just begun.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm a Janis Joplin fan, so.
I think Here Today, when it first came out, I thought it was kind of cheesy, but years later, now that I've matured, I think it's really
It's
good
a beautiful song, well written.
Yeah.
And I do like Empty Garden though, but I'd pick Here Today.
Yeah, I'd pick Here Today as well, but Elton had a good go at it, I think.
I like the George Harrison tributes all those years ago, and when we was Fab. I like those two.
Yeah.
Favorite McCartney solo song? I Like Another Day. Mine is Backseat of My Car from Ram.
Bingo, Larry.
Mine is Maybe I'm Amazed, but not the version that's on McCartney. The one that's on Wings Over America, I think, is the best version of that song. His voice is fantastic, and having Jimmy McCulloch play those guitar solos, he plays them with much more finesse than Paul did on the album, I think.
Yeah.
Here's
a question for Glen.
No, I was not a Beach Boys fan. I like the hits on the radio, but I would never buy a Beach. I thought you were totally uncool if you bought a Beach Boys album. Like that was like they were not cool.
I mean, I've got Pet Sounds, and I think it's a good album, but it doesn't blow my mind. It doesn't blow me away the way it should. I think, or the way the story goes. It's not. I think it's a bit overhyped for me.
Yeah.
I agree.
Larry, you've got to check out the artwork of Mayor Mail, Ron and Russell's dad. Yeah, somebody else mentioned that. Like he was an artist. I will do that. Yeah, cool. Labatt's version.
I've never heard that.
I haven't heard that either.
Here we go. Glen, Tony, and me. What was the first concert you went to, Glen?
The Monkees, Maple Leaf Gardens, April 2nd, 1967.
And mine was Thin Lizzy at Southend Kersal, which was an all-standing venue. And this was the 13th of November, 1976. So Jailbreak had come out, but they were just kind of on the cusp of greatness, I think. So they were still playing a small, all standing venue, but they were just on that, on that cusp of exploding.
Mine was Massey Hall in Toronto, 1974. Golden Earring opened up for King Crimson.
I'm still really jealous of that concert.
Yeah, Badfinger's Come and Get It. That's really not a Beatles cover song, though. It's it really isn't. But
No, it's McCartney.
it's a great song. Day Tripper by Cheap Trick. Yeah, he was at Lee's Palace, Glen.
That's the place. Thanks, Terry.
Anne Murray doing You Won't See Me. I think George's Brainwashed. I agree totally.
By Ravi Shankar.
Wow, that's not bad.
That's pretty cool.
Very good.
As I was saying, yeah. I think George's Brainwashed album is underrated.
So that was funny. So in 1967, I see the Monkees. And then by 1968, I saw in Cream, Frank Zappa and the Mothers, Jeff Beck Truth, and I don't know who else. So that it totally went crazy the next year.
My first concert was Simon and Garfunkel. It was their last concert. Wow.
Oh, fantastic.
I never got to see Simon. I would have loved to have seen even Paul Simon solo. I would have loved to have seen.
Yeah, the Beach Boys were brilliant nerds.
They had good pop hits. That's why I look at them.
I think my first one, probably Meet the Beatles, the Canadian version. Or was it with
Beatlemania or whatever?
Yeah, Beatlemania.
With the Beatles, yeah.
First one I got was 67 to 70. That was the first one. The Blue Album. The first proper album that I bought was Abbey Road after that.
Yep.
Yeah, he does.
Mazzy, did you get those tickets for April Fool's Day? I don't know what he means. Do you know what he means?
No. Tony, are you a collector of Beatles memorabilia too, or you just
no, not
stuff?
really. I've got a few bits and pieces, but I don't actively seek it out.
Is that kind of stuff easy to find over there, or is it really rare now? Like,
I think it's quite hard to find original stuff.
Is it?
I mean, there's still memorabilia being made tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I meant the original.
Yeah,
boys and stuff, and even the original. Is it hard to find the original vinyl albums and stuff now? The first pressings, or
I don't think it's that hard to find because they sold so many of them. There's so many of them about. I mean, it's pretty hard to find one in good nick. But they're out there. They are out there. I've got a few, but I inherited those from an auntie of mine. She gave them to me, but she was a teenager in the 60s and she bought them as they came out. I've got a few. I haven't got all of them. Wow. I've even got a rubber sole that has got Beatles for Sale inside it because obviously they they used to take records to parties in the 60s. And either just take whatever one they take someone else's record home, or they just accidentally did it. But anyway, I've got a Beatles. A rubber sole which has got Beatles for Sale inside it.
Wow.
Dave Clark 5 and Sonny and Cher.
Mazzy, there's the link if you want to come join us. What artist you wish made one more album? Can't be the Beatles.
Blind Faith.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I'm going to say the Jam.
Stampeders. No, I've never seen David Bowie.
Me neither. Disappointingly. Oh,
I've
you
seen
saw
him. I've seen him twice. Yeah,
Wow.
I saw him at Live Aid. I went to Live Aid, so I
Oh, wow.
saw him there, and I saw him in 2003 on the A Reality tour. That was the only time that I saw him, do a full gig.
Excellent.
Fantastic. He was fantastic.
Who do you know who was playing guitar with him when you saw him on the reality tour?
I think it was oh God, it's the bloke that always plays guitar
Oh,
with him.
Slick?
L Slick. That was the name.
Oh,
The one on Double Fantasy. Yeah, L Slick was on the tour. Yeah, and it had the girl bass player. I can't
Yeah.
remember her name.
Yeah, the bassist. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's awesome. Prism Liverpool.
Wow. I had tickets to see them, and I didn't go to the show. I missed it. I had the ticket. I just wasted the ticket. But Stephen Wilson's got a new solo album coming out, and I'm hoping he's going to tour and promote that, because that's really what I'd like to see.
Yeah, the Stampeders. They've been a great Canadian band. Glen saw the show on April 2nd.
Oh, that was his joke. Did I buy the tickets April Fools on April 1st? Sorry, it's awful when you have to explain your jokes, Mazzy.
Twist and Shout, yeah. That might have even been the first one.
Yeah, Twist and Shout and Beatlemania in Canada, they were the two. They're synonymous with Canada. That's
The Munches make-believe band at Chuck E. Cheese.
John, you're so good. You're so
Chuck E. was slurring his words a bit.
good.
I had an older sister that had Beatles trading cards.
I had all the trading cards. Full sets.
Mazzy!
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 Mazzy Mania.
Yep. Max Webster, great Canadian band. I've seen them in concert.
I saw Max Webster at local bars quite a few times.
I'm sitting out this afternoon, enjoy watching.
Like
In other words, he doesn't want to join us. That's what he's saying.
Wow.
You're free to watch.
Yes.
Alan Holdsworth, great guitarist.
No relation to Reg Holdsworth.
Very dirty cover art. Where?
Maybe behind you, Larry.
Look at this. Pleasant Valley Picker, he wins. Saw David Bowie 3 times, and he was brilliant.
Wow.
Mazzy, you and Rachel were talking about favorite music documentaries earlier. What were your thoughts on Imagine from 1988?
Well, Mazzy's not here.
Yeah, he's not here.
You have to ask us.
Alan Parsons Project.
Are they back touring or something? Alan Parsons Project, or
He has an album out. A
Yeah.
new album. Yeah.
the Imagine documentary was good. I have
There
both
you go,
of them.
Glenn.
Oh, there we go. 73. I saw the Grateful Dead in 1970. That was the only time I ever saw them.
So their first farewell tour.
Yeah, it probably was a good show. I didn't go because I live about an hour and a half away from the venue, and that night I just wasn't in the mood to drive to the show and park and go through all the nonsense. I just blew it off. Wow.
John Lennon.
I think I would have liked to have seen what Jimi Hendrix would have done if he would have around if you would have made an album with Miles Davis or just
John Lennon for me, obviously.
Oh, he still has all those Beatle cards. Yeah, every series, the black and whites, the coloreds.
Yeah. Me too, Glen. Ove.
Oy vey.
Oy vey.
That's a Jewish term, isn't it, Massey?
Yeah.
It is a Jewish term, yeah.
Can I say neither? Although, well, if I had to choose, it would be David Lee Roth.
Actually, I like that. I like the Sammy Hagar version of Van Halen. I don't know why. It was more commercial sounding, but I liked it. And David Lee Roth is such an annoying human being.
Did you get anything out of that double Beatle Capital album of interview clips and such? I never had that.
No, I didn't.
The Beatles story.
Is that the Beatles story? Yeah, I never got that either.
Yes, I got that. I bought that in the 70s, just when I got into, when I discovered the Beatles. I didn't realize it was an American album or what. It was just on the rack. I thought, oh, that looks quite nice. I'll have it. I probably listened to it about twice.
Oh, Massey's going to be. Why don't you come over to Larry's for the afternoon?
Yeah, I'm very close to Vancouver.
Yeah,
just take a cab over here.
Yeah, grab an Uber.
Saw Ziggy, White Duke, and with 9-inch nails.
Wow,
so cool.
That's pretty cool. That's early Bowie.
That is early.
Was anybody else surprised by Rick Astley on
Astley or something? Somebody mentioned this to me the other day. That
he's a talented guy.
Because I thought Rick it's Astley.
It's Astley. Rick Astley. Yeah.
I thought he was just like a David Cassidy or something. I thought he was just like a poster boy with pop star. Supposedly this guy rocks out.
He was a stock Aitken and Waterman. He was in that stable that produced those terrible pop records in the late 80s, like with Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan.
Yeah.
And they had lots of that stable had lots of hits in the UK. I don't know whether they.
But supposedly he just played Glastonbury and blew
he played Glastonbury the other day, and he was doing AC/DC covers and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And he got rave reviews.
Yeah, and so did Sparks.
Yes, they did. They did. They definitely stole the Friday night for sure.
Yeah. John Lennon, exceptional. Hey, it's Bon Scott's birthday. Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
What's one artist that you like that most people don't like? Yoko Ono.
Oh, one artist that I like that a lot of people don't know their stuff. Fountains of Wayne. I love them. They're an American band. I think they're from New York. They've made about 5 albums. It's sort of power pop type stuff. Very, very, witty lyrics and great harmonies as well. They're a band that I really like. Fountains of Wayne. And not many people. Well, not over here. Not many people know them.
I'm going to say Tom Waits, just because most people don't like his voice.
Yeah,
including your wife.
Yes. Yeah, Liverpool. They were around playing the bars a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, Yiddish for oy vey. He's going back to the oy vey comic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. You can watch it on YouTube, I guess.
Get up 4 shops.
I only prefer Sammy Hagar because I don't like David Lee Roth. Like, as it bugs me.
Would you rather see a band with all of the original members or see a version with one member, but they are way better at that time? I'd rather see all the original members.
Yeah.
Mm.
And driving, having a Saturday afternoon meetup place, TCD in Vancouver.
I'm driving, having a Saturday afternoon meetup place. TCD. What's TCD mean? Oh, to be determined or something.
Right.
Really, I don't know anything about Rick Astley. I know he had a big hit song. I can't remember what it was called though.
I think a little bit online, but we're not the biggest Beach Boys fans, I don't think. There you go. Apollo Music in Poco. Yes, Yoko Me Too. Yeah. It's Chris Hussey. Howdy, everyone. Greetings from the UK. Tony, have you ever heard of the UK?
I haven't actually. Is it something? Is it somewhere new?
It's over there. It looks like Terry's got a throbbing gristle.
That must hurt. You can get medication for that now, Terry.
I know that's like a prog band, isn't it? Or
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Jason and the Scorchers.
Jason and the Scorchers. I thought he was much better with the Argonauts.
My favorite Queen albums are Jazz, which is underrated, and Innuendo.
My favorite Queen albums are the first album. The first four albums: Queen, Queen 2, Sheer Heart Attack, and A Night at the Opera. There's so little between them. I love them all. They're all really great.
I don't own any Queen albums.
Yeah.
Okay.
Larry, are you going to catch the Spark Show next Sunday at the Hollywood Bowl? I'm hoping Glen buys me tickets and drives me to the Hollywood.
We're gonna fly. We're gonna fly down. On me, Larry.
All right.
Oh. I'm not sure. I don't think it's the same Liverpool that used to be in Toronto in the bar as a bar band. And they were pretty local.
Even the bootleg Beatles have all changed.
Yeah.
They managed to find four other blokes that were just as talented.
Got to head out, Larry. Hey, Art. Have a fun night.
Bye, Pleasant Valley Picker, CA. TBD typo.
To be determined. Okay.
No, I haven't. I haven't ever seen Jerry Mullins. He turns up at the Beatle Fest for Beatles fans, as it's called these days.
Yeah.
Quite a lot, but obviously I've never been to the fest in the US.
Yeah.
5440 was another good Canadian band.
Final show in San Francisco. Noise Industrial Band. Well, Glenn, here's a question for you.
I absolutely love Steve Hackett's Genesis.
He's awesome
stuff. It's fantastic. I'm not even a Genesis fan, but I love what Steve Hackett does, and I'm going to see him at Massey Hall in October. I'm really excited.
So what's this? He's gone out on tour and he's doing Genesis.
He does tours where he play one of the Genesis albums in its entirety or something. But it's really
okay.
Like, I'm not a fan of those Genesis albums with Peter Gabriel and that, but when he does them, his guitar playing the guitar is much more prominent, and it's a different experience, and they sound really good. Great band.
Oh yeah, many times.
That the last
Yeah.
Eagles album, Train at the Long
I
Road.
love that story.
Oh, that's the worst.
I can see you rushing to Walmart first thing
Oh.
in the morning because that's the only place you could buy it.
Big Eagles fan going, I can hardly wait. Walmart special, 7 a.m. I'm there. Get it in the car and go, this sounds like, I think this is the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. I would say maybe Led Zeppelin's In Through the Outdoor when I first bought it. It's still good, but I was disappointed in them.
I'll tell you the one that right now, the one that's really disappointing that I have in my possession right now, but I didn't run out and buy it thinking it was going to be. Oh, Lord.
It's part of our CD exchange.
Oh,
Glen, I don't think, is a Lou Reed fan.
man. Larry, your ears must have been burning the things I was yelling and screaming.
Is it his vocals you don't like?
I just think he's the most untalented human being that ever lived.
Oh,
It's just awful.
Glen,
It is awful.
you are so wrong.
I'd rather listen to Clateau sing Calling Occupants of Interplanet 100 times before listening to one Lou Reed song.
An anus of Uranus.
Oh,
Yeah. My guilty pleasure is Michael Bublé. Molly saw him in concert a couple of years ago, and he was great. Robbie Williams and Musical Youth.
Musical Youth.
Nobody, guilty pleasure. I don't agree with that. It's like what you like. You shouldn't feel guilty, right, Tony?
Yeah, I agree. You like what you like, and so what? Queen too, but love the others. These are Queen albums. Top 3: Night at the Opera, Queen 2, and Innuendo.
I've never heard the National, but I'm aware of the band and the name of the band, but I've never listened.
I don't know them.
The Bootleg Beatles.
Yeah,
Amy Winehouse. Yeah, I agree. Amy would have still been rocking for sure. That Back to Black album's a great record.
I prefer Peter Gabriel.
I'll tell you, solo Peter Gabriel I absolutely love, but I just was not a big fan of the Peter Gabriel. I like the Phil Collins Genesis better.
Yeah, I'm the same. I really like Peter Gabriel's solo albums. They're great. I'm not a massive fan of Peter Gabriel in Genesis.
Yeah.
I prefer the Phil Collins era of Genesis, like Invisible Touch and We Can't Dance. I really like those two.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Peter Gabriel's solo albums are great.
Mm-hmm.
Searchers? Never heard.
Searchers had some good pop hits. Well, Peter Case, I'm a huge fan. He's a singer-songwriter from the U.S. who's great. I'm a huge fan. And Peter Tork, I'm a huge Monkees fan. So it's a different era, different time.
I like Toys in the Attic. That's about it.
Who do I like less, Aerosmith or Lou Reed? Oh.
I like the Smiths.
Another wanker.
Yeah, I like Morrissey. Oh, I like the Smiths, and I've got quite a few Morrissey solo albums as well.
Sean Lennon. I like his work with Les Claypool.
Yeah, the early albums, like if you take Sean's first couple albums and Julian's first couple albums, I'd pick Julian, but now Sean has really come into his own, I think. Well, Stephen Schnee's a smart man. Oh, good, because I have most of his solo albums, so I'm quite familiar with his catalog. But thank you.
Yeah, I think he just performed his very last show, actually.
Yeah. Till he needs some more money.
Yeah. Yeah, we've heard that a few times before.
Yeah.
Final show. Yep, laden up Morrissey.
Did they?
Yeah. The band Ride, I've heard of them. CDs, Chris.
Both.
Me too. Both.
Neither for me. I haven't heard GTR.
I don't like Asia. I was disappointed in Asia.
Yeah.
It's Stephen Schnee, Asia.
Stephen, I just said you're the smartest man in the world by talking about how Klaatu is not anything like the Beatles. Thanks for doing that.
I think that with the Klaatu album, you just got you. If you know anything about the Beatles, you'll know they would never have ever written a song called "Anus of Uranus" or "Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft." Probably.
I don't have one.
No, I don't have anything. I don't know any Elton John albums that were in the 70s.
The only one that I would recommend outside of the 70s is "Too Low for Zero." That's the one I think from 1983. I think that is.
Yeah. No,
Didn't even sound like the Ruddles. Yeah.
I'm a fan of Klaatu. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, Larry. You like Lou Reed too. You don't have to apologize.
It's my guilty pleasure, I guess. There's no such thing as guilty pleasure songs. You like what you like.
Guilty pleasure songs.
YMCA.
What was the song by Gloria Gaynor?
I will survive.
Yeah, that one.
That's my most hated song of all time.
And we were doing so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before. I've done the solo before, but I might do it again.
Top 10 favorite. What was it? What was the thing? Top 10?
Bye, Bob.
Rock artist solo. Yeah. Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob. Say hi to Janet for us.
Yeah. Yeah, but that wasn't even the band that was trying to come across as. I'll have to watch your video.
Even their name's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, you're stupid, Glen.
Don't get me going.
Tony, before we go, we'll stay on for a little longer here. Tell us about your channel, and I'll make sure to put a link once this video's posted.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, Tony, we've run out of time.
I was just about to say it's 1:15 in the morning here.
Oh yeah,
I've got
go to bed.
my last 3 days of work ever. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I'm done. I'm retired.
Congrats.
So I'm really happy about that. So we'll have to go in a minute. My channel, it's been going sort of, I don't know, just about 20, 21 months, something like that. So I just do all Beatles, and it's a Beatles channel basically. Although people are now asking me to do some other, stuff about other bands that I like, so I'm probably going to do a bit of that as well. But I like to do deep dives into albums, do all the box set stuff, rankings, all the usual stuff, really. Yeah. Lots of stories about being a Beatles fan, I suppose.
Yeah. Congrats, Tone.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
Yeah, well, I've been working since I was 16, so, It's time. It's
It's
time.
the
It's a
best
few
time of
years.
life, man. I just
Yeah.
embraced retirement.
Yeah.
No, I have the Oingo Boingo rule. No, I can't listen.
Sub Rosa Subway. Yep. Can. Yeah.
Actually, I could find as many Plateau records as you want. I know a place where they bring them in by the frickin' dozen. I'm serious. There's a used CD store not far from here that brings in used albums. Somebody drops them all off. I see so many Klaatu records. It's unbelievable.
Is that vinyl or CD?
Vinyl.
Oh yeah. No, I gave up. I just like Black Sabbath with Ozzy.
Yeah.
Favorite Beatles film? It would be Get Back after.
Well, if it's between Hard Day's Night, and Help, I love them both, but Help would be my favorite.
If it's between Hard Day's Night and Help, I'd probably go for Hard Day's Night. But I think overall, it's got to be Get Back. If we're allowed to have Get Back,
Yeah.
then it's got to be Get Back.
Mm-hmm.
Couple more questions. Have you seen any of the Beatles live? I saw Paul in 2018. He was great. Yes. I saw Paul McCartney in 2010, and I met the band backstage. Not Paul, but I met the band. And he played for 3 hours straight, and I was center, 9 rows back, and it was awesome. Tony, you have a better story than I do.
I do, yeah. Well, I've met Paul 3 times.
Wow.
But I've seen him live 22 times, going back to 1979 was when I saw him for the first time. I was too young to see the 76 tour. I've seen George at the Albert Hall in 1993. That was his only time he ever played a full gig in the UK as a solo artist. And Ringo came on for the encore, did While My Guitar Gently Weeps and Roll Over Beethoven with George and his band. But I've never seen Ringo. I've never seen a Ringo show because he never comes to the UK.
Yeah. What is there? How much time did you get to spend with Paul? Like, is this just like a?
So the first two times that I saw him, it was a signing. So I've got videos on my channel tell you the full story, but basically it was signings where you queue up all night in the middle of December in the freezing cold, and you get like about 90 seconds with Paul. The third time that I met him, unbelievably, was I was at the train station in Paris, which is called Gare du Nord, which is the Eurostar train where you get the train from the UK into Europe. And the Paris is at the Paris station. We were waiting to go back to the UK, and I'm leaning up against the wall at our gates, waiting for them to open once the train comes in, and I'm on my phone, I'm messing about on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is I'm on, and I look up and literally Paul McCartney and Stella McCartney are literally standing in front of me by the door. Yeah, I could not believe my eyes. It's just the biggest stroke of luck I've ever had in my life. I couldn't believe it. So I had to go and say hello. But you kind of get if you ever go to these signings, you get like about a minute and a half, because
signings or whatever. Yeah,
he stays for about 90 minutes at these things. I mean, it's great that he still wants to do these sort of things.
Very cool.
But yeah, so yeah, amazing.
So I think that's about it. Glen, tell us very quickly, you have 20 seconds to tell us about your channel.
Well, Glen Kellaway from the basement. It's all Lou Reed all the time. It's like a Velvet Underground and Lou Reed and Aerosmith and Klaatu. That's all I talk about. yeah, just general music discussion, showing new albums that I pick up, and tell stories of some of the records and whatever. Just come on over and share your love of music.
Yeah. Okay.
He does some great stuff about Schultz as well. Loves Schultz.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so thanks everybody for all the questions, and thanks Tony for dropping by.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank-
Tony.
Thanks very much for having me on. It's
And
great fun.
thanks, Glen.
Enjoyed it a lot.
I'll see you Friday with
See
our
you Friday,
CD
Larry.
exchange, and maybe by Friday, Lou, you might change your opinion on Lou Reed. Just play the album one more time.
Yeah, I'm still trying to clean the vomit off of it, actually, so it'll play before I give it back to you.
You might as well not even play it anymore. Just forget. I don't care.
Oh.
Like, you don't like it, you don't like it.
I really like Transformer, but the other stuff I haven't been able to get into anything else by him. It's mostly his vocals are just talking, aren't they? He doesn't really do much singing. But Transformer is a great album, but I think it's a great album probably because of Bowie.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody. Have a great
Cheers.
night.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.